Whipple Family Misadventures Book 16 with Fanfare and Celebration Chapter 2.
Okay.
Sonic was nearly animated with how excited he was.
So my birthday is in a few weeks, and I've been on this planet for years, a long time, and all those other birthdays were spent in the woods, alone, which is terrible. But now I've got not only a family, but friends, so it's got to be big. Really big. Like, bigger than anything that's ever happened before. You know?
Wade looked right at him.
I guess.
He hadn't been aware that Sonic's birthday was also in the month of June.
Big how? Like a trip.
Sonic said.
To someplace that's super cool and has some kind of mystery that needs solving or an adventure that needs to be had. That sounds cool.
Wade said politely.
I didn't know your birthday was so soon. Yeah, on the 23rd. Oh wow, very soon. You have any idea of what you want for your birthday?
Wade asked. He generally had an idea what both Silver and Shadow liked and knew Sonic liked comics, but other than that, wasn't quite sure what would make a good gift for him.
I really want 20 minutes of uninterrupted Q&A with Keanu Reeves. There's so much I need to talk to him about. But since you said you didn't know how to get a hold of him, and my dad's already on that.
Sonic rubbed at his chin while he thought.
Oh, have you heard of those headsets? Where you put one on and it becomes virtual reality.
Wade frowned at him.
How much money do you think I make? Or that your dad makes for that matter?
A shrug.
I dunno, like 1,000?
Yeah, not even close.
Wade said dryly.
Do you want that virtual headset plated in platinum or gold?
Sonic absolutely lit up. A gleam in his eye said he heard the sarcasm and had instead chosen to ignore it.
Oh, I didn't think of that. You know, I think platinum would do nicely. Thanks, Wade.
No, that was...
Dad, Wade said he's getting me a platinum VR headset for my birthday.
Sonic yelled, clearly delighted as Tom finally re-emerged from his office. The other man blinked.
A platinum VR headset? Why would you?
I'm not.
Wade said, interrupting him.
That was sarcasm. I'm not getting him a VR headset, regular or plated. If they even make stuff like that.
The blue hedgehog looked deeply disappointed.
You're no fun. Fine. Then you can fund our super cool adventure birthday trip that I'm taking Silver and Shadow with me on for my birthday.
Sonic, I told you that I was going to talk to Wade about it first.
Oh.
The blue hedgehog paused for barely a split second.
I thought you already did?
Tom rubbed at his temples.
No? When did I have time to do it?
I dunno. I'm not here when you guys are working. I can't read your mind with these things. But I'll go now so you can.
Sonic said, doing a little bounce of delight.
Gotta run. Got eggs to lay. Bye, Dad.
With that, he shot off in a gust of wind.
Child of mine.
Tom muttered under his breath. Blinking, Wade looked back at him, trying to understand what he just heard.
Eggs to lay?
I have no idea. Out of nowhere 2 nights ago, he randomly said that laying eggs is hard work. Freaked Maddie and I out a bit. But he keeps saying it, so I think he might just be messing with us. But honestly, I'm not sure.
The sheriff gave a little eye roll.
Anyway, what I was going to tell you is his birthday is in a few weeks and I haven't taken time off in a while and Maddie, and I want to make it special for him. So, would you mind if we stole your kids for a few days and took them all camping over his birthday?
Wade had not been expecting that. From the spiel that Sonic had given him, he had fully expected the hedgehog to just be rattling off another thing that he wanted to do, not actually talking about a trip that really might happen.
Like tent camping?
Absolutely not. I'm too old to sleep on the ground in a camping bag.
Tom said.
My uncle owns a little cabin up on Flathead Lake, a few hours north of here. That's what we were thinking.
What about other people who might be visiting the lake and could see them?
Tom only shrugged.
There are other cabins and campgrounds and hikers, but each one sits on a private 10 acres and there's lots of trees and other cover. That's plenty of room, and we talked to them about staying out of sight. Of course, that means you'd be in charge here at work while I'm gone. But you've done that before. Plus, I thought you might enjoy a few kid-free days.
Wade thought about it for a moment. While Tom had a point, there was something about how casual he was being when it came to the boys' safety that worried him. Especially strangers that could potentially spot them.
When were you thinking?
June 18th through the 25th?
That gave Wade pause.
Shadow's birthday is the 19th. And besides the fact I want to be there for it, it's his first time with us. And quite possibly the first that's ever been something for him to celebrate.
Oh, it is.
Tom deflated a bit.
Yeah, I understand that. What if we adjusted it so we left after his birthday but before Sonic's?
That could work.
Wade leaned on his arm.
You seem really excited about this.
Tom grinned.
I love camping. I had a great time up there when I was a kid. I want Sonic to have the same experience I had. Plus, I think he would enjoy it more if he brought his friends. There's plenty of room for the three of them to run around.
Well, on the surface, it sounds fine, but I want to talk to them first.
Wade said.
Because Silver is terrified of fire. If you make a campfire, he'll freak out. You know how I've got that wood-burning stove in my living room? He's never gone close enough to touch it. And he won't even come into the living room while I'm feeding it. And you saw what happened with Shadow and Helena, when he got overwhelmed and nearly had a meltdown.
Tom nodded a few times.
You think he'll feel that way again?
No, more like I want to talk with him. For just in case it happens.
Not to mention, and while he would never admit to it out loud, he wasn't fully sure if he was ready to hand over his kids to Tom and Maddie for several days. Not because he didn't trust them, but just the idea of knowing they would be outside the safety of Green Hills and the potential trouble they could get into. He needed time to mull over it before making a decision.
Well, let me know. Also,
Tom said.
Do not tell Maddie that I told you this, but I think she wants another kid.
Wade wasn't sure what that had to do with what they were just talking about.
Oh, like having a baby or try to adopt another one?
Tom shrugged.
I'm not fully sure.
Suddenly it hit Wade how this connected to their previous conversation.
Wait. Are you trying to use my kids to scare Maddie away from wanting a second child?
No, of course not.
Tom insisted, holding both hands up.
I wouldn't mind it myself. However, she wasn't there when we took all three of them to Helena for that training period and did not see how crazy it got. And Sonic's great by himself, but I do think she should get a better sense of what it's like having more than one kid around before we make a decision.
Wade shrugged with one shoulder.
Sounds fair, I guess. Have you told Sonic?
No, and we're probably not going to until we have a more concrete idea. He'd either love the idea of a sibling or he'd hate it and be jealous.
Tom said.
I'm not fully sure which one it's going to be, but right now I'm trying to focus on this month. And trying to convince him that I can't just call the Wachowski sisters and get him a meeting with Keanu Reeves.
Wade shook his head, amused by their antics.
Those kids really are something else. Especially thinking that we just have endless money to spend on their every whim.
That jogged his memory and he glanced around.
On that topic, did my two ever come back and wash the windows?
They did, day before last.
Tom said.
You should have seen their faces when I said they didn't do a good enough job, and I made them do the entire thing over again.
That made Wade smile.
Speaking of,
Tom looked over his shoulder.
Where are your two? Are you leaving them alone at home now?
No,
Wade took a deep breath.
I was already out with them and both really wanted to go get their comic books. So I let them go to the bookstore without me while I came here.
The look of surprise that came over the other man's face was not comforting, especially followed by the grimace.
Alone?
Wade exhaled.
Yeah. Trying something new and doing my best not to get worked up about it.
Grabbing the paperwork, he scanned it quickly, signed one spot and held it out toward Tom.
And this is now finished, so I'm gonna go make sure nothing happened to them. Or worse, that they did something they are not supposed to.
Shadow and Silver had gotten maybe 20 steps down the sidewalk away from the coffee shop when Shadow suddenly realized they were actually alone. He had been so focused on the idea of the two of them going to the bookstore without their dad, and not having to go sit at his work and wait for him to finish doing very boring stuff that he hadn't even thought about the fact they were now by themselves. In a town full of humans, there was still some worry in the back of mind. He didn't know every single person who lived here. And the fear went way back to when he had been much younger, smaller, far more helpless, and all humans seemed like a threat, bigger, stronger, and a lot meaner. Shadow forced himself to breathe, remembering the new range of powers that he had. He didn't have to talk to anyone if he didn't want to, and if anyone tried to bother them, they could protect themselves. It still felt nerve-wracking, alone and being so small, around so many humans that were so much bigger. This was their town, their world, it belonged to them, not hedgehogs. As the two of them walked toward their destination, every single person they passed either stopped outright to stare at them or at least turned to notice them. Silver didn't seem bothered by this, at least he was happy, skipping and chattering on about the comics that would hopefully be waiting there. Reaching out, Shadow grabbed him by the arm and yanked him back.
Dad said to look before crossing the street.
Sighing, Silver checked and the two of them crossed.
Are you okay?
Sometimes it was annoying how easily his brother knew him and could read his moods now, especially when something actually was wrong.
Why do you think something's wrong?
I don't know.
Silver said with a shrug.
You just seem off.
He was right. Shadow exhaled slowly.
I didn't sleep very much last night.
That was only partly true. He hadn't been sleeping well for several days now, and the lack of sleep was really starting to catch up to him, making it harder to focus and definitely making him grumpier.
I know.
Shadow blinked, stunned.
You do?
Yeah, when I woke up, 'cause I needed to use the bathroom last night, I heard that you were awake, and I saw your eyes were a little bit open when I came back to bed.
Oh.
Shadow thought he had been doing a good job of acting like he had been asleep, but apparently not. Reaching the bookstore, Silver tried to leap for the door handle and missed. That was another frustrating thing, door handles were always at human heights, way out of their reach. At least at home they had step stools to help them out.
Just use your powers.
Shadow told him. He counted it as a good thing that his brother had been so distracted that he hadn't asked the reason why Shadow hadn't been sleeping.
I don't want to use my psychokinesis.
Silver whispered, sneaking a glance around.
I don't like doing it when strangers are around.
Sighing, Shadow picked up his brother and held him up so he could reach the handle, and together, they pulled the door open. Mrs. Ning, one of the owners of the bookshop, was an older woman with hair that looked like salt and pepper. She always wore very bright clothes, different from the stuff that other people wore. While Shadow hadn't spoken to her, he liked that she wasn't as tall as other humans. She smiled when she saw them.
Hi boys, where's your dad?
He's coming. He had to go to work first.
Silver explained.
Did the comics come yet?
They did, they're in the back.
The two of them hurried to the back corner. Next to an old couch against the back wall were two displays with brand new comics that changed every week. Sitting on another display next to it was a stack of older comics that people had sold to the store, of all kinds and conditions. And now that they each had money earned from Tom, there were a lot of comics to sort through and buy. Grabbing the newest Superman comic from the display, Shadow pulled himself up onto the couch, flipped it open, and then yawned massively. Blinking several times, he tried to focus on the text and then yawned again. Leaning toward him, Silver touched the edge of his comic.
If you want, I'll read it to you and you can just rest for a minute.
Shadow glanced down at the first glossy page.
You can't read all this.
It's okay. I'll figure it out.
Handing over the comic, Shadow crossed his arms over the arm of the couch and rested his head on top of them. Listening as Silver started to describe the first page, Shadow closed his eyes just for a moment, and then suddenly someone was calling his name. Dragging his eyes open, he was slumped against the side of that old couch. His dad was looking directly at him.
Hey buddy, you alright?
Blinking up at him, Shadow realized he must have fallen asleep. Literally the worst thing he could have done, as the exhaustion seemed like 15 times worse than it had been before he closed his eyes. He barely managed to grumble a reply.
You guys ready to go home?
Silver said something, but it wasn't clear enough for Shadow to understand it. It felt like his brain had been stuffed full of fuzz and coming from a long way off. Normally, he didn't want to be picked up or carried anywhere, but this time didn't mind as Wade scooped him up and went back to sleep with his head on his dad's shoulder. When he woke up again to his dad calling his name, Shadow sat up blinking. He was back in his bed, and outside their window, the sun was setting. The realization that he hoped Silver had been able to buy comic books because he hadn't gotten any. His dad was seated on the edge of the mattress.
Hey Shadow, you slept almost 3 hours. I was gonna let you sleep longer, but I also want you to sleep tonight, so are you hungry? Silver and I already had dinner.
Rubbing at his eyes, Shadow yawned really big before he could say anything.
No,
He finally said and then realized he should probably clarify that.
I'm not hungry.
Okay, that's fine. I made you a plate and put it in the fridge if you want it later. But what's going on?
His dad asked, giving him a gentle nudge.
Why are you so tired? Silver said you were having trouble sleeping?
Instantly, Shadow was annoyed that his brother couldn't even keep his mouth shut for a few hours about something so simple.
He told you? Why did he?
His dad looked taken aback.
Because I was wondering what was going on and if he knew anything? Why was it supposed to be a secret?
Looking down, Shadow tugged at his gloves for several moments, trying to get his thoughts in order as he crawled out from under the blanket. He knew he probably should have said something, but it also seemed daunting just to discuss it.
It's not. I didn't want to worry you.
I'm your dad, that's kind of my job, buddy. Especially if something's bothering you. I want to know about it.
Just those words were enough, and suddenly it was all coming out in a rush.
A few nights ago, I woke up sometimes because I heard something on the roof. And it kind of scared me. So after I warped out there to check on it.
Wait,
His dad interrupted.
you went out to go check on the noise that scared you?
Yeah, it was just a squirrel.
That got him a frown, but his dad didn't comment further.
I came right back inside. But then I was too scared to go back to sleep. I just kept thinking, what if it was something coming to hurt us or something? We were all asleep and no one was staying up to watch. And I've been having trouble sleeping ever since. Every time I start to relax, I just think about that.
His dad's frown got deeper.
You've barely slept for the past few days and it's only starting to affect you now?
Shadow shrugged.
I've stayed up part of the night or all of it before.
I see.
His expression suggested that he didn't, but his dad moved on pretty quick.
What do you think might happen while we're all sleeping?
Looking down, Shadow flattened his ears.
Eclipse or Black Doom.
He admitted quietly.
I stole their emerald and got us away from them. I worry that they're going to come back and hurt me.
That was the part that scared him the most. They knew he was on this planet, they could get into his mind, they could teleport him from so far away. If either of them came back, angry or otherwise, he could only hope that the other two hedgehogs would be enough to help hold them off. The look of concern on his dad's face made his chest ache.
Why didn't you say anything?
Shadow honestly didn't know how to answer, so there were so many reasons he didn't want to bother his dad, didn't want to seem like a baby who needed someone to coddle him. But the biggest reason was the worst, the one he couldn't bear to say out loud, that he thought Wade wouldn't be able to do anything to actually help.
I didn't want to bother you.
I still could have helped you.
His dad said slowly.
You and your brother never bother me, I promise.
There was a lot of doubt in Shadow's mind about what his dad could have actually been able to do if that had been a dangerous situation and not just a squirrel, but he nodded slowly. Wade had been really nice to him, he didn't want to insult him or make him feel bad. It wasn't his fault that he didn't have any kind of powers.
I think you should talk to Dr. Palm about this when we go to the appointment tomorrow.
Letting out his breath, Shadow closed his eyes, frustrated. He and Silver had desperately hoped that if they didn't say anything, their dad would forget all about this therapy thing, but it hadn't worked. This would be the third appointment that their dad was forcing them to go to, and it didn't look like it was stopping anytime soon.
I don't want to go to therapy, and I don't want to talk to her.
His dad reached out and rested his hand on the top of his quills.
I know you don't and that it's really hard for you to talk to a stranger, but I promise this is for the best.
I don't need therapy.
Shadow insisted stubbornly. He wished his dad could just see that and understand that going and sitting in silence while staring at her wasn't helping anyone, and they should just forget about the whole thing.
Oh,
His dad said, raising an eyebrow.
so today, while you and Silver were alone, if a stranger had bumped into you, how would you have reacted?
Shadow froze, immediately feeling a low level of panic, of the idea of a strange human who was bigger than him, just invading his personal space like that, especially when his dad wasn't around to keep people away from him.
Exactly.
His dad said almost immediately.
That's why I'm sending you to therapy, because you do need it, buddy. I know it's not fun, but this isn't very healthy, especially staying up all night terrified over what could possibly happen.
Sighing, Shadow tugged on his gloves again. Carefully, his dad put his arm around him and gently hugged him.
Do you remember after you first got here? The first time I took you to the store to get your shoes? You really didn't want to go.
Scrunching up his muzzle, the darker hedgehog was able to remember. Even though he had his physical strength at the time, he didn't have any powers to speak of, and all humans back then were just large, looming, and terrifying to be around.
I really had to coax you to come inside the store with me, and it wasn't easy. Was it? But then it became a bit better each time, and now today, you and Silver were able to go to the bookstore without me. If I hadn't gotten you to do that the first day, you would have stayed in the house or the car every time, and you wouldn't be where you are today.
It was still a little nerve-wracking being alone today,
Shadow admitted.
especially when humans were staring at us.
His dad nodded.
And that's okay. It won't get better all at once. But my point is, there's a lot more things that I want you to be able to do in the future that are really difficult for you right now. And therapy will help with that.
Sighing, Shadow just pushed his face into his dad's side instead of responding, letting his dad stroke his ears and head. Finally, after a few minutes, he pulled back.
Can I have dinner now?
Of course. I'll heat it up for you.
Standing up, his dad stretched both of his arms above his head for a moment.
By the way, what happened to that emerald that you took from them?
Silver and Sonic and I hid it in the woods. So if they do come back, if they can sense its power or energy or whatever, they won't come to our house.
Shadow told him as he also hopped off the bed and headed out of the bedroom in the direction of the kitchen. He hoped that the destruction he had done had been enough to keep them all away forever, that no one would ever bother him again, and they would remain soon. But it also reminded him, none of them had checked on it in a while. He should probably do that as soon as possible.